How y'all doing today? My name is Damian Pacheco from the Reaching Branch, and you're watching Rant, my weekly, unscripted, unedited, uncut talk on a particular subject matter that's of value to me and might have some benefit to you. So what we're going to be talking about this week is making mistakes, failing, messing up, creating a gigantic mess and you have no idea how to clean it. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's okay. Now, you might be wondering, what do you mean, it's okay? You messed up today? Did you make a mistake? I know I did. I made a lot of mistakes today. Am I dead? No. Are you dead? No. You're watching this video. I was teaching a student today. She was working on a piece of music. She messed up. Was she dead? She messed up? No. She made a mistake. And she beat herself up for it. I made a mistake. I don't beat myself up for it. Why? Because I've found that over the years, and especially as a musician, I guess, the biggest thing that I've noticed is that in order to become a better musician, I'll listen to a recording, I'll practice a piece of music, and it's not going to be perfect the first time. It just doesn't happen. No matter what it is, maybe at your job you're learning something new, maybe, maybe you're learning a new craft, or maybe you're doing something in your one of your hobbies, maybe you're learning to stitch or sew or something like that. It just doesn't happen. Sometimes because of the skill set that we have, certain things we pick up real fast, but for the most part, in order for us to become masters at anything, you're going to fall down on your face a lot. And the question is whether or not you view that falling on your face as an endpoint, or whether you view it as just a stepping stone on the path to where you want to go. So, how do you view failure? Now, most people go through life, and I found this especially with people who are just uncommon successes in particular fields, in particular zones. Like, for instance, as a musician, getting to the level that I am as a musician, I never really thought about the fact that I failed, or that I made a mistake, or that I screwed up. Usually it was just, I need to get this piece or this show perfect. I really want to get it done right. And I didn't care about the mess that I made. I just worked at it until I got it right. And I didn't think about the failure as a stopping point. It was just I kept the end in mind. And Stephen Covey talks about that in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. He talks about that the first thing that we need to do in order to be successful in anything is to keep the end in mind. Because if we're not looking at that far zone, if we're not seeing the big picture, so to speak, it's so easy to get bogged down by a mistake. So when my student was working on her piece today, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching her deteriorate, literally in front of my eyes, like she made one mistake and it was just blah, 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 until it was like, blah. I had to stop her and be like, it's okay. So you made a mistake. You made one mistake. That doesn't mean that you got to get flustered and make 10 more. No, it means that, okay, this happened. Now let me keep going and realize that that one mistake does not make or break me. It simply means I messed up and I come back to it later and I fix that problem. And when you're making a mistake on anything, when you're failing at something, especially if it's something that you really want to do, something maybe that you want to master, maybe it's a new hobby, like I was saying before, sometimes we beat ourselves up so much that we lose the lesson, that we're unable to look at the mistake or the problem and say, okay, this happened. Why? What can I do to fix it next time? What can I do better? Was there something I could have done to prepare that would have allowed me to be successful this time around? All too often, we don't do that. Especially if we were having a bad day or something happened or whatnot, or we really want to get something right, that we're beating up against that wall. We're just going, and we hit that wall and we just can't get it. We just can't figure it out. Well, in one of my blogs, I talk about the law of letting go, where sometimes we just have to back off a little bit and reflect and say, what happened here? What went wrong? How can I fix it? What can I do better? Is this making some sense to you guys? So what I'm trying to bring out to you all is this, that mistakes and failures are the building blocks of success, so long as we remain positive, so long as we become solution oriented, so long as we look for a silver lining, so to speak, and say, we can learn from this and grow from it and use that failure not as a stopping point, but as a stepping stone towards the success that we're looking for. And if we can do that, if we can shift our perspective, if we can start looking at failure as a blessing, as a lesson, and look for that seed, that opportunity, that expectancy of growth, then we're going to be much better prepared to deal with it when it comes. Because let's face it, folks, no matter how good you are at anything, you're going to mess up. Something's going to happen. Life is going to throw mud at you, and you're just going to be like, and you're just going to have to deal with it. And you're going to have to learn to just wipe down your face and be like, all right, I got mud thrown at me. I made a mistake. I slipped up. I messed up. I fell off the wagon. Whatever it is, learn to take it in stride, compartmentalize it, say that mistake happened, I fell off the wagon, something bad happened, no matter what it was, and say that happened. That does not mean that the rest of my life is going to be a failure. That does not mean that the rest of my day has to go that way. That does not mean that while I'm on this test and I just messed up on this one math problem, that because I messed that up, it's got a trickle-down effect to everything else. It means I messed this up. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Let's aim towards success for everything else. And keep that good positive attitude the whole way. So if that makes some sense to you, I hope it does, and I hope it helps you out a little bit. Remember, failing is good as long as you're learning a lesson, as long as you're not making the same mistake twice. Learn from every error. Learn from every mistake. Clean up the mess and move forward. So, once again, my name is Damian Pacheco from the Reaching Ranch. Thank you for watching Root Rant. May you reach from the roots towards the life of your choosing, bearing good fruit all along the way. Have an awesome time, fail forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.